Okay guys, this is 3B once again, and finally this is the Let's Play. And what we're going to do here is I'm setting up a large map, and I've put the Unified Victory to 2 beacons, so I have the option there. If I want to, I can just build a beacon and then try and defend myself, and that will be it. Build the beacon, light the beacon, and win the game. So there's that option, and as a warlord it should be quite interesting. What I've tend to find is that on larger maps you tend to do alright against the first and maybe the second AI, especially on Emperor, because they do get some nice bonuses and a few other things that help them fight. But when you sort of roll into the third, fourth, fifth, sixth AI on a large map, they tend to be really quite well developed and quite hard to fight. And especially as warlord it gets more interesting, because fighting an AI at that point, if they're not warlord, well, if they are warlord they have lots of units, but that's not a problem. But if they're something like sorcerer, late game sorcerer is frankly really terrifying, because they just have spells after spells after spells. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm going as a Tigran Warlord, and I'm going to go with Grey Guard Master. Okay, and the idea behind this, behind Grey Guard Master, is there are a couple of spells that I'm going to basically base the strategy around. Most notably, there is Cardinal Culling, which is a great spell against an opponent who is using a lot of the same type of unit. What it does is it gives that unit and all units of that type 40% physical weakness, okay, and minus physical damage, -5 I think it is. So as a warlord my damage is primarily physical, so I'm hoping that in combination with that spell I will be able to output more damage. That's the idea. Okay, so Grey Guard, Cardinal Culling, physical damage, and on top of that Tigrans have quite a nice synergy with bleeding wounds and predator. So bleeding wounds on your archer unit, which means it has a chance to make opponents start bleeding, but more importantly it means your faster, more agile prowlers can get in on the action and do more damage against units that are already bleeding. Alright, so that's quite an interesting way to look at it. So we'll go to launch, and I'll give you a quick overview of those things that I was talking about. So let us customize new, and we are going to go for, where are you, just past it, Warlord, and I click far too quickly, Tigran. Okay, so like I said, we're going to go for Grey Guard Mastery, and more importantly the good thing is with Grey Guard Master we get the Chthonic Guardian out, so I'll bring that up just to give you guys a refresher. So as the game goes on, and okay, do I have to be inside the game to get this? Yeah, I do. Okay, get the Chthonic Guardian out, which, as I showed you in the last Let's Play, has some pretty nice stats and will complement this because it's a flying unit and it's good. And for my last pick I'm going to pick Wild Magic, and the idea here is, again, it's all about manipulating that battlefield and just messing other people around. Plus, hopefully I'll be able to get that lesser elemental. So I'm hoping here, where is it, degenerate. Okay, I'm hoping degenerate, which being 60% weakness all types, plus Cardinal Culling. As the battles get bigger, this is the plan. So Cardinal Culling if there's lots of units of a particular type, degenerate if it's a single high value target, or put both together, so that in theory I could have a unit suffering from 100% physical weakness, which means anything that of mine that's doing physical damage is going to do double the damage and really put the pain on. Right, okay, now the key thing to bear in mind is that I am going to have to watch my alignment fairly well if I want to use Scales of Fortune. Okay, again, if I want to output that extra damage and do 100% more be 100% more likely to deal critical damage, I need to watch this spell quite quickly. I don't have to use this, but it's something to think about. Plus Shield of Dispassion also helps here as well. So there's a real what's the word I'm looking for? Encouragement. There's a real encouragement for you to maintain your alignment. Okay, so that is us, and as you can see there, we're gonna be producing a little bit extra gold. Now this is a good thing to remember, because with Tigrans, okay, they get extra gold anyway, so as long as I maintain my neutrality, I'm getting that little bit extra gold. Now you might be wondering why I didn't go for Shadowborn. The reason I didn't go for Shadowborn is because I think Greyguard is overall more interesting. I like that idea of sort of being somewhere in the middle there. Anyway, that's kind of how I approach most things in role-playing games anyway. Plus, the key thing about Shadowborn for me with regards to Warlord is it gets you cheaper units. Okay, so instead of 20% cheaper units, you're going to get 25% cheaper units. However, Tigrans, and remember the key unit I'm going to be going for here, guys, is going to be the Prowler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and then I'm going to push for Prowlers quite quickly. I'm hoping to start getting them out by around about turn 10 or earlier. Now Prowlers, they're the tier 2 infantry. You have to build a wall to get them, which means you've got a real choice between them and your horse cavalry. Well, they're not, your chariots, okay, which are ranged cavalry but fairly flimsy in melee and not that good against walls. Now Prowlers are good against walls because, you know, they can just not jump, but they get advanced wall climbing, so they don't need to worry about the penalty. Great way to deal with walls. It means I don't have to bring siege engines along, which means I can stay quick. Now, the first Tigran military upgrade, first Tigran upgrade you can get on the military side is cheaper Prowlers, because Prowlers cost 60 gold anyway. So now I'm going to get them at 45 gold. Plus, if I get training regiment out, they're going to be really, really cheap anyway. Now, the key reason to have cheaper Prowlers is it means you can one-turn them that much faster. So having the Shadowborn extra discount on top of that doesn't really help me. At least that's what I think. It is not really going to help me that much, and I'd rather stay neutral and get the Cardinal Culling and output extra damage. And you can't mix and match Shadowborn, Keeper of the Peace, and Greyguard. Right, so that is the introduction, guys, and I will stop there for a minute and then we'll start actually playing.